What's going on, world? Coming at you guys again. We got another quick video. Cancer and how to heal it. Let's talk about it. So if you guys had the opportunity to check out some of my recent posts, I talked to you specifically about how to heal and cure cancer. Now, the post itself really didn't go anywhere because I believe it's being suppressed. But again, this is another source of innovation in which I have recognized and acknowledged and applied through a methodology to teach and inform the world, in which again has yet to be acknowledged. You know, the reality of the situation is we are all electrical beings. Our cells run off of electricity. Our organs, specifically our heart, runs off electricity. Now, a lot of things that you may not understand and recognize is our level of health is directly tied to our environment. And the irony is the more technologically advanced we become, the sicker we actually get. And it's an unfortunate reality. You know, I've talked about this before, to where the way cancer activates in the body and spreads in the body is based off of a system in which is decomposing faster than it can regenerate. And the primary process for how cancer spreads is based off its inability to maintain healthy red blood cells. You know, because we live in an environment to where oxygen is the primary component of the gas within our atmosphere, our red blood cells are constantly exposed and they go through rapid forms of oxidation. Now, through these forms of oxidation, over time, our young red blood cells become mature red blood cells and are unfortunately met with some type of oxidation, which degrades the integrity for being able to utilize oxygen and through the basic organelles to transport oxygen through the body. And if you have cancer because of some type of genetic deviation, anomaly, manipulation, or impact or trauma, then these mature red blood cells are known as carriers for cancer cells to bind themselves to and to utilize for transport systems, in which we call metastasis, or metastasizing or spreading of cancer or tumors to grow. Now, the reality of the situation again is I've made a complete comprehensive list about how to treat and possibly cure cancer utilizing the basic necessities in which we utilize on a day-to-day basis, and you can check it out on my profile. It starts with macrophage production and the diet, as well as exercise and lifestyle, in which you can utilize and adopt in order to fight cancer, as well as possibly cure cancer. Now, this is only one part of the reality of the situation. The other part, in which I talked about initially at the beginning of this video, is how our environment and our necessity to try and implement innovation and evolution through an artificial perspective from a technological advance is directly related to our declining of our health overall. And that's why we've seen, in a concurrent perspective of how we have transitioned as well as improved upon our technological advances, unfortunately, our health and welfare has declined. It goes hand in hand. Now, you know, we are taught that our environment, our atmosphere, is something that we can use and abuse, and that is completely wrong. The reality of the situation is we are electrical beings. The earth is an electrical current system. The majority of technologies in which we utilize to maintain some form of technological improvement are actually embedded in the ground for a primary and specific purpose, to ensure we have the capacity to cleanse our bodies appropriately. Again, we are electrical beings. You can go look this up. When we look at silver, copper, gold, aluminum, calcium, tungsten, zinc, nickel, lithium, and iron, these are the top 10 conductors of current on the entire planet, and they're found where? In the ground. Do you understand why God put them in the ground? Is to keep the current active, is to keep the current in the ground. You remember that trend that was happening where you saw Conor McGregor hugging a tree and going out and putting his bare feet in the grass, and people sticking electrical voltage machine readers in the ground to see the electrical voltage that's actually in the ground? Well, the voltage used to be a lot higher, but because of technological advances, it's a lot less, because we're pulling all of these vital materials and resources out of the ground to satiate our need and desire to facilitate some form of technological advancement and evolution at the detriment to our own health and safety. Again, you can go look this up, but the reality of the situation is our biggest form of recognition for recharge. Everybody utilizes a phone or something like that and they plug it into an AC system. But the reality of the situation is our biggest form of recharging our environment doesn't come from the sun. It actually comes from lightning. The lightning is gathered up through what we can consider and correlate to DC current, because it's one specific direct motion and it flows back into the ground. That lightning that flows from the atmosphere and bounces around through static electricity flows directly into 10 gigajoules back into the ground, and it's supposed to come into contact with the 10 metals in which I had already previously talked about: silver, copper, gold, aluminum, calcium, tungsten, zinc, nickel, lithium, and iron. And those help facilitate and spread that electrical charge throughout the ground to keep the ground with a high level of electricity. So when you, as a human being, you walk out onto the earth, you have the capacity for your body, your red blood cells, in which are mature, because this is an oxygen-rich environment. The DC current that flows in one direction, that energizes and flows through your body, specifically attacks your mature red blood cells and reinvigorates them to give them restructure for integrity in order to maintain homeostasis so they can transport oxygen, even though they may not have the capacity to hold vital organelles within their nucleus or within their cellular membrane within itself. But by doing so, it eliminates the capacity for tumor cells to hijack or to catch a ride with these dysfunctional and mature RBCs in order to spread through the body. And then outside of that, you have your diet, in which is specifically designed for antioxidant rich and as well to help produce macrophage production, because the macrophage production actually helps to also eliminate mature red blood cells in which are no longer in the condition to transport oxygen. So your diet helps to prevent oxidation of the cells, which helps to prevent spreading of cancer and tumors as well as illnesses. And the electrical conductivity that happens in the world, all around the world, through lightning strikes, as well as the metals that are supposed to be in the ground and stay in the ground, well, these are the necessary materials in which are required in order to satisfy the capacity for human beings to live 800 years instead of 100 years that we see now. So when you guys are out there and you're looking into the world and you're just following blindly, accepting the reality for which you have come to know to be the normalcy, well, hopefully this video wakes you up for you to understand that the society and environment in which you are living in is not best suited for you. It's best suited for someone or some group of people who want to stay at the top. This is the truth. This is the reality. You people keep asking, when is Jesus going to come back? But how many times have I already told you? I'm already here.